Alright, welcome back, and this is 4.5 graphs of sine and cosine. We're going to go over the sine portion, or the cosine portion now. We just went over the sine portion. So our central question is, how do you graph a variation of sine and cosine? So same as last time, only this time we're going to focus on the cosine aspect. So the graph of a cosine is different than sine. You're going to start at 1 instead of at 0. So at sine you start at 0 and go up and down, but now you're going to start at 1 and go down and then up. Your period's the same, so your period is 2 pi. It does go on forever, so your domain is negative infinity to infinity, and your range is also the same, negative 1, 1. But the function is an even function, as we had talked about before, so cosine of negative x equals cosine x. Your steps for graphing are going to be the same as they are for your sine. So your graph may be looking different, but your steps are going to be the same. So your amplitude is still absolute value of a, your period is 2 pi over b, and your phase shift is the same. So phase shift is just going to be c over b. So it's the same thing, only your graph will look different because you have different values for what cosine x is. You're doing the same steps though. So we're going to start by finding a, b, and c. So in this case, a equals 3 over 2, b equals 2, and c in this case is negative pi. It's negative pi because you have minus c, and over here you have positive. So in order to make a negative a positive, it has to be another negative. So absolute value of a is just going to be 3 over 2. So that's your max, and then your main is negative 3 over 2. Your period is 2 pi over b, so it's going to be pi, same as in the last one we did. And your phase shift is your c, so negative pi over b, and b is 2. So your phase shift is negative pi over 2, which means we're going to go left, negative pi over 2. So let's get started finding our pieces. So step 2 is to find the x values for all your 5 key points. So in order to do this, we have to do our period over 4. So it's going to be pi over 4. So x1 is just going to be negative pi over 2, because that's our phase shift. So x1 is negative pi over 2. It's always going to be whatever your starting value is. x2 will be your negative pi over 2 plus pi over 4. So if we were to convert to have similar denominators, that means you're going to have negative, excuse me, so you're going to have negative 2 pi over 4 plus pi over 4. So negative pi over 4. So you have negative pi over 4 plus pi over 4, so just 0. x4 is 0 plus pi over 4, just pi over 4. And then x5, pi over 4 plus pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, which is just pi over 2. So x1 is negative pi over 2, x2 equals negative pi over 4, x3 was 0, x4 is pi over 4, and x5 is pi over 2. So now you're going to make your table, and each of your x values are these, and then you're going to plug it back into your formula. So we'll do a couple, and then you guys can work on the last 3 on your own, same as last time. So we're just going to plug in our x value. And we know that pi is really 2 pi over 2 or 4 pi over 4. So if you go to cosine 0, that's 1. So you have negative pi over 2, and then 3 over 2. So let's try the next point. There should be a negative. If you look at cosine of pi over 2, that will just be 0. So negative pi over 4, 0. So you want to go on and find 0, pi over 4, and then lastly pi over 2. So try those ones on your own, pause the video and solve it, and then check your answer. So for 0, you should have 0, negative 3 over 2. And pi over 4, you should have pi over 4, 0. And lastly, you have pi over 2. So you have pi over 2, 1 in that case. So your next step is to plot all of your points and then connect them. So step 4 is connect the 5 key points with a smooth curve and graph one complete cycle. Step 5 would be continue it. If you have room, you do want to continue it, so you just keep going. So make sure you complete the questions below and then watch your next video. In the next video, we're going to talk about vertical shifts of sine and cosine graphs.